going on YouTube? It's the NBA Nonstop here to talk what else? NBA. And today's topic of conversation comes from a very um, outspoken Mr. Amari Stoudemire. Okay, if you haven't already checked it out, recently Amari Stoudemire said that if the lockout were to be prolonged to perhaps more than a season or two, that the NBA players would then go forth and start their own league. I'll give you a moment to let that sink in. So, after you've done that, I'm telling you right now, after I heard this, I was shocked. I was in utter shock. I could not believe that Amari Stoudemire, and maybe it wasn't just him, maybe it was the other superstars of the league that came up with this idea, and maybe he was just the one that publicized it. I don't know the whole story, but regardless, I cannot believe that the players would even think of something this foolish. I just can't believe that they're more concerned with starting their own league, which I can't say it'll never happen, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things that need to be done for a player, for you to start your own league. And before we get into that, I'm just saying if the players are more concerned with starting their own league, with playing these charity games and playing these Drew League, Goodman League games, than going back to the negotiation table and actually hammering out a deal and bargaining, then we may not even have an NBA season. I was optimistic that we may have. No, actually, previous to that, I was optimistic that we could save the entire 82 game season. Obviously, I was mistaken, but that was me just being very optimistic, thinking both sides, or at least the players, would realize that they have no leverage and would therefore take the best offer available, which would be at this very time, right now. But obviously, that didn't happen, and now I might even take a complete 180 and say we may not have a season at all. God forbid that we do have a season. I want a season, but we may not have a season at all, and at best we may have a 50 game season, a shortened season like the 98-99 lockout. But to see that the players are more concerned about this than going back to the table and negotiation just shocks me, because it tells me that they don't really care. They're willing to wait this out and prolong this lockout. All this time I thought the players wanted to, end the negotiations and start the league. If they're itching to play basketball like they say they are, they're not showing it. They're not showing it to the fans. They're not showing it to us, anybody out there, that they want to get this deal done. Obviously doing a fair deal, but think logically here. Coming from a third party, I just want to say that both sides have fair argument. I'm not saying the players are wrong in arguing. They do deserve a fair share, but they are the product. People come go to the watch the NBA to see the players. That is true, but the owners also have a legitimate argument in that teams in the NBA are losing money. Small market teams have absolutely no shot of an NBA title outside of very few, i.e. San Antonio, i.e. Oklahoma City. And outside of those teams, such as those teams which are managed exquisitely well, which is very rare, there's virtually no chance teams like Milwaukee, Indiana, Utah, teams like these have virtually no chance of competing for championships, because all the star players are teaming up in big market cities. You have LeBron James, obviously his publicly scrutinized move to Miami, Carmelo Anthony packing his bags and just trading away half the New York Knicks to make his spot on the roster. So, and then you also have you have Dwight Howard holding the Magic at hostage, and Chris Paul holding the Hornets at hostage. The fans don't deserve that. You know, those cities basically feel as if they've already lost their superstar. And once they lose them, once Dwight Howard goes to the Lakers, and once Chris Paul goes to the Knicks, then the whole attraction for that city is gone. They tank. The Cleveland Cavaliers lost more than 300 million in value of the franchise when LeBron James left for Miami. So going back to the lockout point here, I can't believe that this has to even be brought up. I'm completely, utterly disgusted by it. I do not support it at all. And players will regret thinking about this instead of going back to the bargaining table. And another point to be noted is that the players, if this is all about money, and we know it is, the players should realize that instead of wasting their time in these charity leagues, I mean, not wasting time because charity is obviously for a good cause, but wasting their time thinking about, proclamations such as starting their own league, in which compensation would be difficult to find because who would pay the players? Obviously they would be their own product. And taking another example would be the players going to Europe. You know, you have players like Darren Williams signing 1 year and $5 million deals. Darren Williams is signed to the New Jersey Nets for over $15 million. He could be earning 10 million plus over here. Mari Stoudemire, likewise, he's owed 80 million over 4 years. Carmelo Anthony, 80 million over 4 years. Those players get paid in one place and one place only, the National Basketball Association, and they need to realize that. They won't get paid nearly even close to that amount anywhere else. What's the point of going to Europe? What's the point of starting your own league when you don't even earn money? Instead, go back to the negotiation table, start negotiations, and try to end this lockout so that the fans, the arena workers, everybody that depends on the NBA or enjoys the NBA can get back to watching the NBA. That's all I have to say about that. And on a closing note, I also want to make one point clear, and I've said this point before, and I'll stick by it, is that if and when this lockout ends, the players will lose. And never in the history of North American sports have the players come out of a lockout with a better deal than they started before, and it won't happen this time. The players have absolutely no leverage, and it would be foolish for them to think that they do. They should take the best offer on the table, which is right now. The owners' offers are only going to get worse. We may see a repeat of NHL's 04-05 season, in which the owners went ahead and canceled the full season to get everything that they wanted, and they did, and the players could have gotten the same deal without the canceled season that they did with the canceled season. So just a note goes out to the NBA players. But let me know your thoughts on Amari Stoudemire declaring that the NBA players should start their own league if the lockout is prolonged. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and feel free to disagree and let me know what you think. Feel free to agree and let me know what you think. Follow me on Twitter. I'll post a link in the description box down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.